Hello and welcome to stage 38 about the language 3 review. We're going to add the present passive infinitive to the other infinitives that we already know how to use in indirect statement. So let's start with an indirect statement that uses the present active infinitive. So here's our direct statement to begin with. Puella equum amat. The girl loves the horse. Puella's the subject. She's in the nominative case. Amat's our verb. That's in the indicative. If we want to turn that into an indirect statement, we take that nominative subject and we put it in the accusative. We take that indicative verb and we make it an infinitive. And we come up with dico puellam equum amare. I say that the girl loves the horse. Now let's try one with a passive verb. So here's our direct statement. Equus apuella amator. Equus is the subject. It's in the nominative. Amators are passive indicative verb. The horse is loved, or the horse is being loved by the girl. So again, we take our nominative subject, we put it in the accusative. We take our indicative verb and we put it in the infinitive. This is a passive verb, so we use a passive infinitive. And we end up with dico equum apuella amari. I say that the horse is being loved by the girl. So let's quickly review our present infinitives, active and passive. Remember, to get the present active infinitive, you just go to the second principal part of the verb. So amo, amare, amawi, amatus, the second principal part of the verb is the present active infinitive. So here's our first conjugation verb, amo, amare. To make the present passive infinitive, we take off this final E and we replace it with a long I. So amare, to love, amari, to be loved. Here's our second conjugation verb, dokeo, dokere, dokui, doctus. Again, take off the final E, replace it with a long I to get the present passive infinitive, dokere, to love, dokeri, to be loved. Let's do the fourth conjugation. Audio, audire, audivi, auditus. So audire, to hear. Take off the final E, replace it with a long I, and you have audiri, to be heard. Now the third conjugation, traho, trahere, traxi, tractus. So the third conjugation has that short E there, and that creates a problem. When we make the present passive infinitive, that syllable just drops right out because of the short vowel, and so we end up with trahi, to be dragged. So trahara gives us trahara, to drag, trahi, to be dragged. So here are all the infinitives that we know how to use in indirect statement. To love, to be loved, to have loved, to have been loved, to be about to love. And remember, with the perfect passive and the future active infinitives, the participles, those endings are going to need to change to agree with their noun. One more reminder, infinitives in indirect statement have time relative to the main verb, the verb of saying or thinking or believing. So if you have a present infinitive, then it's contemporaneous time, same time as the verb of saying. If you have a perfect infinitive, it's prior time, time before the verb of saying. If you have a future infinitive, it's subsequent time, time after the verb of saying. So now we know pretty much everything we need to know about indirect statement.